All right, it looks like we're live. Welcome to Decode the Left. I'm Karlyn Borysenko. I'm an analyst and independent journalist covering the far left in America. And it's been a minute since my last live stream. I apologize for that. The last several months have been very busy, but I thought it's time for a check-in. We're kind of gearing down for the end of the year in terms of just like I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff wrapped up, things I want to finish before the start of the year. I'm starting to make plans for next year. And I think I've got so many ideas, and I think it's really going to all come together in the coming year, and I'm super excited about it, and I know many of you will have a hand in that, and I appreciate you guys being the main focal point of what I do. A lot of people, they don't understand how I'm kind of like able to accomplish what I am, and it's purely because I have a community of people around me that literally volunteer to do this research with me. And that's very real. And there are people that are around me, many of them have been around me for years and years and years, that love this topic and love researching this topic. And we do this for fun. People can think that I'm grifting, I guess, all they want, but the reality is I do this for fun. I do this because it's interesting. I do it because I find it fascinating. And there are a lot of people who agree with me on that. It's like once you start watching radical revolutionary socialism, you kind of can't go back. It's all downhill from there. And so I've got a lot of great plans in the coming year, and we need to continue to expand the community. That's got to be a big focal point of it. I'm going to be making a lot of ways for new people to get involved, classes that people can take. I want to start doing talks around the country. We want to do Occupy libraries. Want to raise a whole bunch of money to do this stuff, and I think we can do it. And I believe in you guys to help me. But the reason that I'm just I like listen. I really don't mean to toot my own horn. I really don't mean to, but I'm going to, because the reason that I have such confidence in what I'm doing and what we're doing together as a community is because my work is completely predictive of what the left is doing. I have such a high accuracy rate with predicting what the left is doing, literally weeks, months, or even years ahead of time. And the reason I do that is because I analyze the psychology of the social system and I know where to go for information. I know where my sources are for what the far left is doing, the people that are relevant, the people that are driving the agenda. I know the difference between the DSA and the far left revolutionaries. I know the difference between the Democrats and the DSA. That might sound like a trivial thing, but quite frankly, most people covering the left don't even understand the difference between the DSA and the revolutionary left or the Democrats and the DSA. That's just reality. That's what people are given. And I do understand the difference, and I understand the nuance, and I understand how each of these groups acts, what they care about. I understand who is driving that narrative. I understand how to find out what the most up-to-date information is. I understand where they post their propaganda, where they post their news. I understand exactly where the left is getting their information and who are the people that are leading the charge on all of this crazy shit. And I know that because I've been on the ground with them for literally years now. And even if I'm watching something online or researching online, that's still on the ground. That is something that is happening in the real world right now. I'm not using other people's research. I only go to the source of information. I go to the primary source evidence. I visit the locations in person. I go to their events and I record them, or I even just listen to them. And because it's so hinged into reality, it's on the ground, and I've been in this subculture for years. My work is completely predictive of what the left is doing. And I got to tell you guys, the reason I went live tonight is because it just happened again. It literally just happened again. And I already knew this was true, but like this is a big smack in the face that it's true. Let me show you what happened. Let me turn my camera around. This is an article in The Guardian from today. Gen Zine DIY publications find new life as a form of resistance against Trump. This is an article about fucking zines and how the left is using zines to organize anti-ICE activism and other things. I have been talking about zines as the central organizing mechanism for the left for well over a fucking year. I figured out the zine thing over a year ago. And it's because I kept going to these events and getting this leftist propaganda and getting their downloads and going on there. I was like, these are all zines. What is this? And then we started learning about zines, and we were looking at it particularly with queer Marxism, and we have a really extensive archive of queer Marxist zines. Like, we've got a massive archive of this stuff. Because with that, like, the zines were how we were tracking the evolution of queer Marxism. Well, guess what? The zines are not just for queer Marxism. The zines are the strategy and organizing tool of the far left. And so if you know what zines are circulating in the system, and this is why I've always harped on this, if you know what zines are in the ecosystem, if you know what they're out there reading, then you know what ideas are in their head, and you know what their strategies are, and you know what the talking points are, and you know what they're going to do next, and you know the people driving the information, and you know who are the primary sources that they're referencing. The zines give you everything, and people can fact check me on this. Go to my YouTube channel. We were watching workshops about zines like over a year ago. We were going to start our own zine, and that's still something I want to do. Like last year, I had this cockamamie scheme where, and I cannot believe the year has gone by so quickly. It's just like, it's mind boggling to me. But it was a year ago that I had the idea that I was going to do an anti-communist zine. We had a member of my community teach us a whole workshop on how to do zines. We figured this shit out forever ago. We figured this shit out before Trump was even back in office. And now, breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Everyone else apparently, where's my mouse? Everyone else apparently has figured out that zines are actually a thing as well. But it gets even better. Let me just scroll down. Zines have made a resurgence in weeks and months as communities seek to share information, blah, blah, about how to protect people from ICE or how to resist the Trump administration or at the No Kings protest and yada, 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 yada. Does anyone recognize these zines? Does anyone recognize these zines? For those who weren't around, this was maybe a couple weeks ago. I literally covered the person who made these zines. This one in particular, the How to Report ICE one. I covered this. Was this like a month ago? I don't even remember. It was at least 2 to 3 weeks ago. I literally covered this because I found this massive stash of zines on Blue Sky, and I found a random like Google Drive link where they have all this stuff shared. And then this was related to the hotlines that I called. And again, I covered this. I'm pretty sure I posted it on the Substack as well. This is related to the hotlines that have been set up around the country for people to call in these ICE sightings. And all of these different zines have different versions for different geographic locations, and they're all customized to the geography and whatever groups are involved in it. It's actually insane. And they name the person specifically that I covered. In particular, Kaba pointed to Brooklyn illustrator Megan's series of How to Report ICE zines, a simple black and white one-page PDF document that requires 4 folds cut in the middle and blah, 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 blah. There are over 70 versions of these pamphlets. I went through this all on a live stream. So that just proves, and then there's that whistle shit. I've been talking about that whistle shit for weeks. I've been talking about this whistle stuff ever since we infiltrated the Zine Librarians Unconference. What was that, like several weeks ago now? A couple months ago? I don't even remember. And I said they're using zines to organize these whistle things for the anti-ICE groups. And specifically, I have a woman on video from Chicago saying that. I had that weeks ago. I had that literally weeks ago. I had all of this. It's unbelievable. It is unfucking believable how accurate my work is at predicting the left. The Zine conference was in November. It seems so much longer ago than that now. It's crazy. And this is why I yell and I scream and I get so annoyed at people who come and question me when they don't know basic 101 level information. Like, I'm sorry, like, I have worked very, very hard to develop this type of expertise. I have a really specific expertise that I don't think anyone else in the country has, to be really honest with you. At least I've never met anyone that has the expertise, the very specific niche expertise I do. And I have people every single day come up to me and basically they think they're going to teach me about the left and they don't know basic 101 level information about it. Like, imagine whatever you're an expert in, and I understand, like, listen, everyone is an expert in something. You all have some sort of hobby that you're really into, or some sort of author that you really like, or some director that you've seen all their movies, or some sort of, like, fucking Legos thing where you're obsessed with Legos, or some sort of my husband's really into, like, RCA cars right now, so that's kind of like his, autistic fixation at the moment, but, I'm trying to say, everyone is an expert in something. Maybe you know how to fix cars, maybe you know how to, I don't know, draw, like, and paint, I don't know, but, like, every single person is an expert at something, right? I want you to think about the thing that you are an expert in. And then I want you to think about how you would feel if every single day of your life, someone who had just gotten into your hobby or had just discovered the thing you're an expert in, this person is a total noob, a total beginner, doesn't understand anything, but maybe they've learned like a little bit. Maybe they've watched some videos on YouTube, so they think they're an expert in the thing, but really they don't know half as much as they think they know because they just discovered it. Think about this thing that you are the expert in, and you have a person that maybe they watched a couple of YouTube videos about the thing you've been obsessed with for years, and now they're going to come and tell you about that thing. And if this happened every once in a while, I could see it would be like a minor amusement, right? But the thing of it is this happens to me literally every damn day. Every day. Every single day of my life. I have one, if not multiple people who don't know shit about shit, who have never gone undercover with the left like I have many, many times at this point, who have never spent thousands of hours listening to leftist organizing and leftist meetings, who barely even do anything other than watch TikTok videos. I have those people coming up to me every single day, trying to educate me about the left based on fucking TikTok and whatever the conservative narrative is at any given time. And oh, they pinky swear it's all George Soros. Trust me, bro. And it's like, you have no idea. You truly have no idea. And listen, it's okay to be a beginner at things. It really is. We're all a beginner at something. Sometimes, like, you can go back and watch me be a beginner at this. I was a beginner at this on the internet for years. But there's a difference between a beginner that wants to learn and understands what they don't know, and one that thinks they know everything. And I am confronted every single day by people who think they know everything about what I spend my life doing. And really, they know nothing. They know nothing. As proof being the stuff that comes out all the time, right? Hang on, I'm about to cough. If I cough, I'm sorry. Reagan says algebra is not calculus. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm doing fucking calculus, motherfuckers. I am doing calculus. You are doing algebra. Okay? Not a lot of the people that are watching right now, but I'm saying like the beginner types. You are doing algebra. It's not that you know nothing, but I started doing algebra in 7th fucking grade. Maybe even 6th grade. I don't remember. I was really advanced in math when I was a kid for some reason, even though I hate it. But they always had me in the whatever. I started learning algebra when I was 13 fucking years old. I am now doing advanced college, like, computational mathematics in my head on a live stream. I'm like at the PhD level of what I fucking do, and you are at the middle school level of what I do. It's not that you know nothing. It's not that you know completely nothing. But if you think you're coming into my fucking classroom and teaching me based on your algebra understanding of what is going on, you are out of your fucking mind. You are out of your fucking mind. There hasn't been a single other person talking about zines and the far left's use of zines except for people on the left. With obviously the left talks about it, but there is not a single other non-leftist out there that has been talking about zines and the influence of zines and how zines are used and all this stuff, thinking about making zines, going to zine conferences, like collecting zines, creating a massive fucking archive of zines. And now all of a sudden, I was right again. I am such a fucking Cassandra and I hate it. I hate it. I know I'm the Cassandra. I'm the Cassandra. I am the person that figured it all out, that got years ahead of everyone else, that is I'm screaming and saying, "Will you fucking retards please look over here? Will you please just shut the fuck up? I don't want to hear about your algebra. Shut up. Will you just look?" And they just want to shield their narrative and they don't want to fucking listen. And then they want to come tell me about the left when it's just like, oh my God. We are so screwed, guys. We are so screwed if people don't start waking up and actually seeing what's going on. Reagan says being the tip of the spear is hard. Yeah. Yeah. Real. Real. It sucks. It sucks so bad. Because, when they finally catch up to you, weeks, months, or years later, when they finally catch up to you, excuse me, when they finally catch up to you, they never admit that you were right. You never get the contrition. You never get Karlyn, I didn't understand why you were going on and on and on about that stuff a year ago. And I kind of dismissed it. And maybe I shit talked you and I called you crazy to my 90,000 fucking followers. Maybe I did all those things. But it turns out you were right and I was wrong. And, good call on that one. I never get those fucking moments. I never get those moments. The people who shit talk me, the people who drag me, everyone who calls me fucking crazy, everyone who questions what I do and claims I don't have evidence. It's like, I never get an apology when I am absolutely proven right on basically every single thing that I said. Because these are not people of intellectual integrity. And it's just like, anyone who thinks that meritocracy exists on the right is an idiot. The right is like one of the most anti-meritocratic places I've ever seen. There are so many competent, capable, good, passionate people trying to actually make a difference on the right. There are so many of them. And the really, really good ones never get the attention they deserve. I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about other people. Like I'm thinking about like people like Gabrielle Clark, who has done more to fight the actual left in terms of both critical race theory and gender ideology than anyone else on the planet. She does not get her due at all. She gets absolutely no respect from those people. I look at someone like Honey Badger Mom, who just stood out there every single day in Portland when there was no reward, who was dressing up like Antifa, who was actually pretending to be them for months, covering what was going on in front of the Portland Ice facility. And listen, I have an appreciation for Katie Davis Court as well. I think Katie Davis Court does a great job. But Honey Badger Mom has been routinely overlooked and just like mistreated by people who should have been on her team. And some very famous people that I'm not going to name right now because I don't have permission to tell that story. But like, she has been mistreated by some very, 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 very famous people that you've all heard of. There are so many good people that are actually really passionate and really into what they're doing that can never get ahead on the conservative right or with that whole sect, because it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how passionate you are. It doesn't matter how much you get right. It doesn't matter how many people you impact. None of that matters on the right. What matters is who is your friend, Are you a Zionist? And will you follow the approved talking points with no pushback or questioning? And oh, by the way, for women, you also have to be really thin and have really big boobs and be willing to show them off because that's what is expected. Or you have to dress up as like a conservative, like, like in the pantsuit and having your hair all did and big, just like they do in the South or whatever. Like if you're a woman, you also have to follow very specific standards of looks in order to be taken seriously. And it's just like meritocracy has nothing to fucking do with it. Has nothing to do with it at all. Has nothing to do with it at all. And because of that, the left will win and we will lose because the most passionate, the brightest, the most committed, the most fucking honest people that are doing stuff out like this. The ones that are not funded to shill a fucking narrative. There's nothing it's so difficult. You guys don't understand. It is so, 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 so difficult to get this information out. It is so fucking hard if you don't play their bullshit game. And that's why most people end up playing the bullshit game because they do care about something, but they're willing to make sacrifices for it. There are some sacrifices I'm willing to make. I think spending, 16 hours a day thinking about the far left is a pretty big fucking sacrifice. I think giving up any semblance I have of a normal life and destroying my own sanity. I think I've made sacrifices to do what I do, but there are some sacrifices that I'm not willing to make, and I'm not willing to fucking lie, and I'm not willing to hold back the truth, and I'm not willing to keep my mouth shut when someone is doing wrong. I'm not willing to keep my mouth shut when people are being misinformed and lied to by people that they trust. Reagan says on the left, they admire academics and real activists. It doesn't matter about looks or clout. That's exactly right. The left does not give one flying fuck about looks or clout for the people that they admire and the people that they follow. The left is honestly far more meritocratic than the right is in this regard specifically. The left is actually more meritocratic because of the system they have, the people with the best minds will rise up to the top. This is why they're so fucking dangerous and this is why they're so organized. Because of the system that the left has, the people with the best minds that are willing to work the hardest will rise up to the top. The ones willing to write all the time and produce a ton of content will rise up to the top. The ones that are willing to go on speaking tours around the country where they're on video so we can watch the talk later, they will rise up to the top simply because of the work they're doing, because of the volume of stuff that they're creating. So, unironically, the left is actually more meritocratic than the right. Now, the ideas that those people have that rise to the top are batshit insane and they're going to destroy our entire way of life. But, you know what? Listen, man, I'm almost I'm almost to the point where I'm like, okay, good game, leftists. Okay, good game. Now I have to figure out how to exist in your system. You won, we lost, whatever. I think you're wrong, but you're obviously going to win. And, so I have to show some respect somewhere to say that when they win, they will at least deserve to win. The right does not deserve to win, not with the way they behave and not with the way they treat people. They don't deserve to win. And I still am in my heart of hearts, I still hope that, having integrity does matter because I do try to act with integrity. I'm not a perfect person by any stretch of the imagination. I'm absolutely not a perfect person, but I do try to act with integrity in what I do. And that's not always easy. That is not always easy. There are so many times in the past 5 years that I could have sold out. I'd have more money, I'd be more famous, more clout, more shows, all that stuff. And you know what? I don't actually know that I wanna be more famous. I actually don't know that I want that type of clout. I don't wanna go on shows. That's for damn sure. I know I don't wanna go on shows. I will go on a show if I deem it to be a worthy use of my time. But, in terms of just "Oh my god, it's so cool going on the show," I don't actually care about going on the shows. I really don't. I care about it in the extent that, there are people that I would like to have conversations with. There are people that I would just enjoy that dialogue. But, in terms of, am I gonna seek that out? No, I'm not. But anyway, I digress. And now I don't even know where I was. I don't even know where I left off. Probably something complaining about the unfairness of the content creator ecosystem. But you know what? Like, I can only do what I can do. And I'm just like, obviously, what I do works. And obviously, what I do is extremely predictive. Oh, I was talking about that's what it was. I was saying I have to hope that, like, having integrity does actually matter. I continue to hold out hope, although I am continuously and forever disappointed in this regard. I continue to hold out hope that, like, there are people out there that do care about this stuff, like, in a nuanced, real, authentic way, not in a bullshit, fucking clickbait, outrage culture way. So I continue to hold out hope that there are actually people that care about this enough to support what I'm doing. 'Cause I got a lot of big plans for next year, to be honest with you guys. Like, I would really like expanding the audience and especially the supporter pool would be very, very, very helpful because just like the things I want to do next year in terms of like Occupy libraries specifically, Occupy libraries being an idea where I want to basically around the country to different libraries to give talks about the far left and how to go undercover at leftist events and like, piss them off really fiercely and stuff like that. But I wanna build the tools for other people to be able to do it too. Um, that's gonna cost a lot of money. It's just gonna cost money. Not that libraries cost money to rent rooms for, but it's gonna cost money in terms of travel. It's gonna cost money in terms of just like I mean, depending on how many events, like, I mean, like, I guess the number of events can be directly, like, tied to, like, how much money I'm able to come up with for this stuff. I guess I'm just saying that, like, I really hope we can expand the supporter audience because it would just make things so much easier. It's so much easier when you have that there. Like, I can't like, and I have wonderful supporters, and I appreciate everyone who funds my work, and you guys are the best, honestly. But it just makes it so much easier when the money is just there, and you have it, and you can use it, and you don't have to worry about it, and you guys know I have no life other than this. I don't even take vacations. You think I'm gonna buy the worst crime I ever committed was buying, like, $1,000 purse or something like that. Like, after, like, 5 years of never like, of not even getting a new fucking purse, I bought a really expensive bag, you know? And then the rest goes into travel and work for our love stuff because I have no life. Anyway, I hope that having integrity and really hinging into reality, I hope it does pay off, and I think it will. I think that more and more people are seeing every single day, and we need to wake more people up, and we need people to see reality because here's the thing, if we wake enough people up and we start making enough noise online, and Twitter is all these people care about. If we start making enough noise online, just like Nick Fuentes and the Groypers did, there will reach a point where they can't ignore us anymore. And if the only thing that we're ever doing is coming with receipts and coming with evidence, they cannot ignore that forever. They just can't. So I'm not suggesting I'm anywhere near Nick Fuentes level because obviously I'm not. Obviously I'm not, and that's fine. But I'm saying that I don't even think you really need to be at that level in order to cause problems for the narrative. I think that if we're out there and we get a group of people that are committed to being out there and committed to sharing this stuff and committed to showing people, people are starting to see. I saw a huge increase in the number of people who are seeing. I would love to have a conference. Mary says in the chat, we need to have a conference. I would fucking love to have a conference. The question I have in my mind is who would even speak at that? Who would speak at it? I mean, I don't know. I would love to have a conference though. I would love to have a conference of people I trust presenting on the far left and talking about whatever they're really like into with it. I would love to do that. That'd be rad. Well, I don't know if Reagan wants to present. I don't know if Gabs wants to present is the thing. It's like who wants to Reagan doesn't even come on camera on a Zoom call. Could Reagan do it? Yeah, absolutely. Does Reagan want to do that? I don't know, and I wouldn't blame her if she didn't, honestly. So no pressure, Reagan. My God. Anyway, but there are ways to do this, and we'll figure it out. Listen, my stuff on this has just been expanding year after year after year. Can we get you into someone else's conference as a speaker? Well, who? I'm not. Guys, breaking news. I will never speak at a Turning Point event. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Not because I would necessarily be opposed to it. I don't have anything personal against Turning Point, but they would never have me there. They would. I don't fit their image at all. I'm not thin. I'm not blonde. I don't wear push-up bras. I'm not gonna put on a fucking sparkle outfit. Like, I'm not stupid. Like, I'm not gonna go up and praise Jesus because I'm not a Christian. So, could you? I don't know. No, there's no strategic merge with Nick. Nick doesn't want to merge with me. Come on, Nick doesn't need me and my shenanigans. He doesn't. So, at all. Yeah, I don't kiss the ring of Israel. That's right. I don't. Yep. That's another problem, isn't it? But Nick broke through, and I think Nick has a lot more baggage than I have, honestly. So if Nick can break through, I think anyone can. And so hopefully we just make that happen. And if we get big enough and we get loud enough, they're not going to be able to ignore it anymore, and they're going to have to start confronting it. I mean, I've already been annoying to a great many people. And I have no problem, like I really have no fucking problem calling out anyone that I believe is misinforming the public about the left. And I will always try to talk to those people privately, or I'll always try to gently nudge people in that direction, just like with Andy No. I tried to talk to Andy No privately for months, repeatedly, many times, before I started calling his ass out publicly. And it wouldn't have taken much for Andy to shut me up, by the way. It really would not have taken much. But Andy didn't want to play. Andy kept lying to the public. Andy kept misinforming millions and millions of people. At that point, I will say, no, motherfucker, you are wrong and you need to stop lying to people. And here's the evidence that you're lying to people. You don't even know what Turtle Island means. And you're going on a show to talk about a group called the Turtle Island Liberation Front. I've got a clip of that coming if you haven't seen it yet. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting now. Thank you guys for listening and hanging out. If you're a supporter of my work, I really appreciate you supporting it. If you're not a supporter, I hope you'll consider becoming one today. Sign up on the Substack, $8 a month, $80 a year. I really do mean it when I say I cannot do this without you guys. I really appreciate the support. You guys provide me with the time to be able to dedicate to doing this, to be able to spending all my time researching the far left. I've got a ton of stuff that's going to be coming out before the end of the year. And just like, I think, just moving forward, the more resources we have. I mean, listen, guys, to be brass tacks about it, I invest pretty much almost everything that I make. Beyond being able to pay my mortgage and being able to buy food and beer and all that stuff, which you guys know that basically you guys are paying my salary. So that's just part of it, right? I have to do basic life things, and you guys allow me the flexibility to do basic life things, right? But beyond that, pretty much everything I make is reinvested back into what I do. Either in terms of like getting stuff to be able to do content better, or, going on trips to go undercover, to collect stuff, or to go buy historical documents as I've been doing lately, or to be able to like have membership and access fees to things, or to be able to pay dues for multiple Democratic Socialists of America so I can get into all their events, or things like that. Buying leftist materials, getting access to them, like almost every single thing that I make is invested back into this. And occasionally I'll buy myself a really nice purse. And I know you guys will forgive me because I don't even take vacations or anything. And so whatever. But the more people who are supporting my work, the more resources we have to work with, the more information we're able to get out there. And I really want to do a lot of in-person stuff next year. That's very important. Lots of in-person or like virtual stuff where like we're going into places virtually. I want to be able to do a lot of that stuff. In-person stuff particular costs money. So it is what it is. But I will do my best and I will keep showing up for you guys. If you guys show up for me, I really do appreciate everyone who supports my work. Welcome to people who might be new. I will be live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, and we'll talk more then. So until then, take care, guys. We'll see you soon.